Coming up on this week's edition of the High School Extra, a trek to East Texas means a look at some of the best high school baseball in Texas. We'll look closely at Lufkin High School's district championship ball club, as well as the Alto Yellow Jackets, who are aiming for another trip to state. This team is aiming for a very fast time in Austin. They ought to. They set a record time in the sprint relay team at regionals. We'll also look at a pole vaulting duo that set some very high goals. And this tennis team also looking to capture state honors. That and much more on this week's edition of the High School Extra next. The piney woods of East Texas serve as a picturesque backdrop for some of the most beautiful landscape in the Lone Star State. In this case, it also provides a backdrop for some tremendous high school baseball here in the deep East Texas region. We're in the Lufkin-Nacogdoches area, and there's much to showcase coming up on this week's edition of the High School Extra.
High School Extra is brought to you by the new Dodge and your Texas Dodge dealer. Gatorade, life's a sport, drink it up. Lowe's Home Improvement Warehouse. Lowe's knows teamwork. Pepsi, who invites you to join Generation Next. Sonic, America's drive-in. And by Southwestern Bell, your friendly neighborhood global communications company.
High school baseball has always meant quite a lot here in East Texas, and 1998 is no exception to the rule. Hi again, everyone. I'm Craig Way. Thanks for joining us this week on the High School Extra. As you can certainly see, high school baseball is important here in Lufkin, where the Panthers fashioned some 4 state tournament appearances in 6 years from the late 50s to the early 60s under 3 different head coaches, no less, culminating in the school's first state championship in 1963. Even from the 80s and now into the 1990s, Lufkin Panther baseball has been competitive and certainly teams to watch as the years go by. This particular edition of Panthers, however, in 1998, while they may have all the tradition behind them, seem to have all the future ahead of them. Rich in tradition as they are, the Lufkin Panthers are surprising people. A young team that returned only 1 starter this season, Lufkin wrapped up the regular season with a share of the District 12 5A championship and a postseason berth as the top seed from that district. It was almost as surprising as Lufkin missing the playoffs last year for the first time in 15 seasons.
Last year, us being ranked in state and everything, we had some guys out here that we had a lot of individuals on the team, and it was really a letdown to not just us as a team, but as the city, you know, because Lufkin being a baseball tradition town, and we just wanted to come back this year, and we knew that we weren't having many returning starters, just having 1 returning starter, and we knew that we were going to have to focus on being team, and every person doing their job, and so having the letdown last year, it was more of an incentive to come out and succeed this year.
Now that the postseason is here and the Panthers are back in it, nothing would surprise longtime head coach Fred Oliver.
Well, for a coaching standpoint, in your career coaching, you love to have kids like this that are easy to coach. You come out every day to practice. They do what you ask them to do. They hustle on and off the field. And it's just a pleasure being around kids that are very coachable and you know, put forth a determination and effort that you enjoy.
You know, everybody counted us out. And, you know, a lot of hard work and determination. You know, we got a bunch of fireballers on our team. And, you know, we got things going. We got wins on a roll, and we just kept going.
In a way, the Lufkin Panthers are starting over, at least when it comes to consecutive playoff appearances. But they're also renewing the long-standing playoff tradition here with a team that shouldn't be a surprise anymore.
Our expectations are as high as ever with any Panther team, and that's to go as far as we can, take 1 playoff series at a time and see what we can do.
Lufkin High School certainly has its district championship tradition in the decade of the 1990s. Now, this 1998 edition will have to be temporary for the moment, since the Panthers only claimed the district crown a little over a week ago with a win over their arch rivals from Nacogdoches. They also have established quite a winning tradition just to the west of us, but here in the Piney Woods region in Alto. In the High School Extra's Paul Melton reports fans of the Yellow Jackets are buzzing about another possible trip to the state tournament in Austin.
The Alto Yellow Jackets have been on quite a run. They won a state title in track and field in 1996. Football has seen the Jackets reach no less than the regional round of the playoffs each of the past 5 seasons. And in baseball, Alto had their best season ever with a state finalist in '97. It's the kind of success most can only hope for. In Alto, it has them wanting more.
We've got a bunch of medals at home. They're all silver, you know. I'd like to get in there and, you know, win one. All my whole life, I've always dreamed about winning a state championship at any sport. And we're all going to work hard and try to achieve our goal and, you know, hopefully get one for Alto this year.
Senior Brian Gamble will be heading to Texas A&M in the fall on a football scholarship. This spring, he's already qualified for the state track and field meet in the shot put event, and he's hoping that he and his teammates can get back to Austin in baseball for another try at a 2A state title.
We had some real good hitters that were on that team last year. I don't believe we're as offensive as we were last year, but our pitching has matured, and it seems, I believe we're as good defensively, and our pitching might be a little bit better.
Alto may have the best 1-2 punch in the state with Miguel Heredia and Jamel Ward, who've both thrown past opposing hitters all season. Last year, the Alto Yellow Jackets came up just short in terms of winning a first ever state baseball championship, but it's that experience that could be the biggest difference this year as the Jackets head back into the playoffs in hopes of gaining another berth in the state tournament.
Well, we've had our chances, and we really want this one. This is going to be our last chance for our senior group, and we want it bad.
I mean, I know it's my last year, and this is all I got left, and I'd really like to achieve the goal we've been striving for so long. We just never seem to get that ring or whatever.
A ring is something the name Alto already has to it in terms of winning tradition. The jewelry kind is still up for grabs in this baseball season. In Alto, Paul Melton, High School Extra.
All right, thanks, Paul. Now we'll continue this very fast-paced edition of the Extra because coming up next, we'll take a look at a very speedy relay team. That and more when the High School Extra continues right after this.
Brought to you by Southwestern Bell and the Texas High School Coaches Association, working together for the youth of Texas.
Well, if it stands to reason that we're here in the piney woods of East Texas, it also stands to reason that there's probably a beautiful lake nearby, and that's the case here at Sam Rayburn Reservoir. Welcome back to the Extra. We're out east of Lufkin here at Lake Sam Rayburn, and one of several beautiful East Texas lakes where during this warmer time of the year, there are a lot of boats out on the lake testing their speeds. Well, speaking of testing their speeds, the High School Extra's Chris Tynan reports the latest test of speed regarding O.D. Wyatt High School and Fort Worth Sprint Relay Team reveals more than just speed, record-setting speed.
Running track is all about speed. The fastest runners earn respect, and some even set national records. That is the case for the O.D. Wyatt 4x100 relay team. In Lubbock at the Region 1 5A meet, Milton Wesley, Monty Clopton, Michael Franklin, and DeMario Wesley set a national high school record, 39.99 in the prelims.
Didn't know we was going that fast. I mean, we were just running. And we heard a lot of people shouting in the stands, and when we had looked on the scoreboard, it was 39.99.
We knew it was possible to set a record, but we didn't know we was gonna be able to do it that soon. And we just thank God that we did it.
We had bad sticks on 1 and 2, and 3 and 4 had some bad sticks all the way around. We just didn't know until the times came out.
We know we can roll and everything, and we think that we knew that we were trying to break it anyway, and it didn't seem like we broke it or nothing, but it just happened.
The state of Texas has become known for its fast runners. Jasper held the national record before the Chaparrals. The official time was 40.09. Jasper actually ran a 39.9, but the handheld time was converted, and Jasper lost 1/10 of a second. Today, as the Chaparrals prepare for state, the feeling is that they could get another shot at setting a new record.
The conditions are right, we can.
Anything can possibly happen, so we just go in mainly just want to win.
And the weather has to be nice and not windy or not too cool. And if those conditions happen, you know, they have a chance at it.
There were some other contributing factors to the Chaparrals' win in Lubbock. DeMario Wesley set 2 new Region 1 records, one in the 100-yard dash, the other in the 200-yard dash. Franklin came in second in the 400-yard dash, and the 4x400 relay team finished second. Because of the team's performance in Lubbock, the Chaparrals will be the strong favorite going into state next week in Austin. In Fort Worth, Chris Tynan, High School Extra.
Thanks, Chris. Now up next on the Extra, you meet this week's Lowe's Home Team Award winner. And coming up, a look at a pole vaulting duo with some high goals in the greater Houston area when the High School Extra continues right after this.
In Texarkana, Texas at Liberty Ilo High School, the varsity baseball team donates its time each year to help with the district's Olympic Bowling Day for its mentally and physically handicapped students. This year, 16 players are assigned to help coach the handicapped students ranging from kindergarten to high school age. Because of the baseball team's efforts, all the students who participate benefit through this day of fun by learning about each other and themselves, and by discovering what it really means to help others.
We had a lot of players say, Coach, it's the best thing ever happened to me personally. And, you know, that's important for us to make sure they learn in other ways besides on the baseball field.
Congratulations to the Liberty Ilo baseball team. The Leopards will receive $1,000 as this week's Lowe's Home Team Award recipient. Time now for this week's Sonic Scholar Athlete of the Week. From Denison High School, it's Chase Archer. Chase has a 4.0 grade point average, ranking him number 4 in his senior class of 217.
Through the years, I've had several good teachers that have helped me, and especially in high school, I'd have to say Mr. Terry, he's been my biology teacher and my anatomy teacher, and he's really worked with me, and I've really liked his classes and helped choose the career I want.
Congratulations to Chase, who will receive a $1,000 scholarship as this week's Sonic Scholar Athlete of the Week.
Well, of course, we try to get academic from time to time here on the High School Extra as well, and that includes a trip to one of the most historic towns in the state of Texas, perhaps the most historic town. Nacogdoches certainly fits that bill, and this is the side of the old Nacogdoches University here in town. Of course, Stephen F. Austin State University is just down the road from us, which is the college here in this town, but the old Nacogdoches University building was established in 1858. Well, as we draw closer to the state track and field meet in Austin, there are athletes who are setting high goals for themselves. The High School Extra's Keith Fletcher reports there are 2 such athletes out of the greater Houston area where high definitely is the operative word.
It's early May, which means that the pole vault poles lie in the sun by Magnolia High School's pit, not in mothballs. Coach Steve Warr, also known as the Colonel, the title of his retired military rank, is preparing a Magnolia Bulldog vaulter for the state meet for the 4th straight year. Chad Covington won the 4A state championship in 1996 as a sophomore, but has since moved to the Woodlands High School. This year, however, the Bulldogs' tradition and talent has vaulted them into another trip to Austin.
When you get into a place like that, like state, when we walked into state last year in the big Texas Stadium, it was just awe. You could just feel adrenaline from your toes to your top of your hair. It was awesome.
Westmoreland placed 3rd at last year's state meet. This year, after clearing 15 feet with his final vault of the regional meet in Huntsville, he's going back.
The Colonel will be lucky enough to have just 1 athlete go to the state tournament for the 4th straight year, but this year he's got 2 athletes making a return performance.
Westmoreland will be joined by teammate Jeff Ingram. Last year, Ingram and Westmoreland respectively finished 2nd and 3rd at state. This year, they both go back, overcoming numerous odds, especially for Ingram.
3 weeks ago, he broke his wrist, pole vaulting, and he got the cast off 1 week before district. Ran out and grabbed the whole pole first day of district and made 15 feet, got into district.
But while preparing for state, Ingram still misses workouts, as on this day, while nursing the wrist to 100%. Westmoreland continues his preparations to better his season high vault of 15 feet. Ingram has cleared 16.3, and Westmoreland acknowledges the advantages of having a state championship contender as a teammate.
It's like whenever he broke his wrist, you know, and when he went out, and it was just kind of, I just kind of like went down a little bit because I didn't have him to chase after, because I'm always there sitting there going, okay, well, I'm going to beat him this time. And he jumps 3 foot over a bar that I can only clear by a foot. And it's kind of like, okay, he gives me that extra oomph.
And they help each other go as high as each other can go. And Seth told me the other day, he said he didn't mind coming into second when it was to Jeff. They get along really well together.
And when these teammates take their daily duel of one-upmanship to next week's state meet, the rest of the Class 4A field might be left shooting for third place. In Magnolia, Keith Fletcher, High School Extra.
All right, thanks, Keith. And when we continue on the Extra, we'll move from one historically traditional structure to talk about some traditionally strong tennis in West Texas. That's up next when the High School Extra continues right after this. In one of the oldest towns in Texas, you have one of the oldest thoroughfares, the El Camino Real here in downtown Nacogdoches. Welcome back to the Extra. And the El Camino Real was known by several names during its